Have you ever stopped to ask yourself why your life feels so noisy, so cluttered, like every moment is filled with someone else's opinions, someone else's demands, someone else's drama? The world screams at you constantly, pulling your attention in every direction, convincing you that your worth depends on how loudly you respond, how fast you react, how many people notice you. But what if I told you that the real power, the kind of strength that changes everything, isn't in being loud, in being seen, in being heard? What if the secret to transforming your life starts with silence, with stepping back, with choosing yourself over the chaos surrounding you? There's a reason why those who master the art of stillness rise above the rest. There's a reason why staying silent, focusing inward, and refusing to react impulsively builds a force inside you that others cannot touch. When you learn to control your words, your reactions, your energy, you begin to see the world differently. Every distraction, every unnecessary argument, every meaningless reaction that once drained your power no longer has the same hold over you. Your mind becomes a place of clarity, your decisions sharper, your confidence unshakable. The moment you realize that silence is not weakness, but strength, your perspective shifts. You start noticing what truly matters, and you stop giving life to things that do not serve your growth. Staying silent allows your thoughts to become clear, your intentions to become precise, your actions to become deliberate. And when your actions are deliberate, the world begins to respond to you in ways it never did before. Opportunities you didn't see before become visible. People respect the calm authority you carry without even trying. Life stops pulling you in every direction because you are no longer giving it permission. But this transformation doesn't happen by accident. It begins with a conscious choice, a decision to stop reacting to every stimulus, to stop giving your energy to the noise, and to turn inward toward yourself. You start by asking yourself hard questions. Who am I really? What do I want? What deserves my attention and what does not? The answers will not come from scrolling, from arguing, from seeking approval. They come from silence, from reflection, from focus. And here's the reward. The deeper you go, the stronger you become. Your thoughts sharpen, your confidence solidifies, your resilience grows. The world may still be loud, chaotic, and distracting, but you will navigate it with clarity and power. The life you've been waiting for, the focus, the peace, the opportunities, the respect, it begins to materialize the moment you commit to yourself. Every second spent choosing silence over noise, focus over distraction, growth over validation is a second you reclaim control over your destiny. This is why you must stay with me until the end, because what you are about to discover will show you how to unlock a level of power, clarity, and freedom that most people never even recognize exists. When you embrace the quiet, when you invest in yourself, when you stop reacting to the world and start shaping it from within, everything changes. And that life, that version of you is waiting. Have you noticed how easily your mind drifts, how quickly your focus fragments, how small distractions pull you away from what truly matters? Every ping of a notification, every comment, every expectation from someone else is silently stealing your energy, your time, your power. You tell yourself you'll get back on track, that you'll refocus later, but later never comes. Your attention is the most valuable currency you have, and yet most of it is spent on things that do not move your life forward. The truth is, focus is rare because it is hard, because it requires discipline, and because it demands a willingness to turn away from what is loud and tempting in order to prioritize what is meaningful. When you commit your attention fully to yourself, to your growth, to your goals, something shifts deep inside. The world still calls, but your response changes. Your mind becomes a weapon, a laser cutting through distraction, carving out space for clarity, progress, and purpose. Focus is not about doing more. It is about doing what matters with precision, intention, and undivided attention. Research shows that the brain cannot truly multitask, that attempting to divide attention reduces efficiency, creativity, and the quality of your work. Every time you let your mind flip from one distraction to another, you lose momentum. And momentum is everything. Momentum is what transforms small efforts into remarkable results. Momentum is what allows you to rise while others stay stuck in noise. The disciplined mind, the one that chooses focus over distraction, sees opportunity where others see chaos. It notices patterns, it solves problems before they become crises, it moves forward silently, powerfully, and deliberately. You may feel overwhelmed now, caught in constant busyness and mental clutter, but the ability to focus is a skill you can develop. a muscle you can strengthen, a choice you can make at this very moment. Every decision to ignore the unnecessary, to say no to what does not serve you, to prioritize your own growth, builds your capacity for focus. And when you focus, when you commit fully to your own path, life begins to respond. Doors you didn't even know existed begin to open. Relationships deepen in meaningful ways. Opportunities appear that were invisible when your mind was scattered. Your confidence grows because you prove to yourself every day that you can control your attention, that you can decide where your energy goes, that you can master the one thing that defines how far you will rise. The reward is not immediate applause or recognition. It is something far more valuable: clarity, control, and the quiet certainty that you are moving exactly where you are meant to go. When the world is chaotic, when noise is constant, your focus becomes your shield and your power. It allows you to act deliberately, to think strategically, to live intentionally. The life you desire, the life of purpose, freedom, and achievement, does not arrive by accident. It arrives because you learn to protect your mind, because you learn to respect your energy, because you learn to focus. And the moment you commit to focus, truly commit, you unlock a force that cannot be distracted, cannot be derailed, and cannot be ignored. That force is you, becoming unstoppable. Have you ever paused to consider how much of your life is spent giving energy to others while neglecting yourself? You wake up, respond to messages, answer questions, solve problems, and meet expectations that aren't even yours. You pour from a cup that's already empty, hoping someone else will notice your effort, hoping someone else will appreciate your presence, while your own growth quietly waits in the background. Focusing on yourself is not selfish, it is essential. It is the foundation of every success, every achievement, every level of confidence you wish you had. When you put yourself first, not in arrogance, but in conscious, deliberate choice, the world begins to align with your clarity. Your mind sharpens because you are no longer scattered by the need for approval. Your body responds because you are no longer exhausted from carrying what isn't yours. Your emotions stabilize because you are no longer reacting to the noise outside. Self-prioritization strengthens every part of your life. It is the unspoken signal that you respect your own energy, your own time, and your own potential. And the moment you fully embrace this truth, you stop waiting for permission. You stop chasing validation. You stop bending to the whims of everyone else's expectations. The world may resist at first. It may test your boundaries, question your focus, or try to pull you back into distraction. But every time you choose yourself, you reinforce an invisible authority inside that commands respect, even from those who refuse to understand. There is a psychological principle at work here. The value you place on yourself is mirrored by those around you. When you honor your own growth, your boundaries, your attention, others begin to honor it too. The respect you long for doesn't need to be begged for. It grows naturally as a consequence of your self-priority. This does not mean you withdraw from the world or reject connection. It means you engage from a place of strength rather than need. It means your actions are intentional, not reactive. Every decision becomes a reflection of your purpose. Every choice, a step toward the person you are meant to become. And the emotional reward is immediate, even if subtle at first. You feel lighter because you are no longer carrying everyone else's weight. You feel stronger because you are no longer giving your power away. You feel capable because you are finally investing in the one person whose life you can truly change, your own. Life does not notice hesitation. It does not respond to indecision. It rewards clarity, commitment, and consistent action. Focusing on yourself is the most potent investment you will ever make. Every second you dedicate to your growth compounds. Every boundary you enforce reinforces your self-respect. Every moment of silence, every refusal to react unnecessarily strengthens your presence. The world begins to shift around you subtly at first, then undeniably, because your energy has changed. You are no longer chasing life. You are commanding it. You are no longer waiting for others to recognize your worth. You are embodying it. And that embodiment, quiet, deliberate, unwavering, is what transforms ordinary days into extraordinary life. Why do you give so much of yourself to people, situations, and expectations that will never nurture you back? The urge to seek approval, to be liked, to be accepted is one of the most subtle traps you can fall into, and most of us do it without even realizing. Every time you adjust yourself to fit someone else's standards, you chip away at your own power, you dilute your energy, and you compromise the very essence of who you are. Seeking validation creates a life that is reactive rather than intentional. It forces you to live in a state of constant anticipation, waiting for permission, waiting for acknowledgement, waiting for a signal that you are enough. But here's the truth that no one ever tells you clearly: you are enough already. You do not need anyone's approval to exist, to grow, to achieve, to become remarkable. The moment you stop seeking external validation, everything changes. Your energy is no longer scattered, your focus is no longer broken, and your decisions are no longer dictated by fear of judgment. Your confidence begins to rise, not from the applause of others, but from the quiet, unshakable certainty that you are fully capable of directing your own life. Psychologists call this internal locus of control, and it is a trait that separates people who live on autopilot from those who create extraordinary lives. When you take control of your approval, when you stop asking permission to exist, you are reclaiming the most precious resource you have: your attention. Your mind, once crowded with the opinions, criticisms, and expectations of others, becomes clear. You notice things you could not see before. Opportunities appear where before there was only distraction. The people, circumstances, and outcomes you attract change because the energy you are radiating is no longer desperate, it is deliberate. And the deeper reward is subtle, yet life-changing. Freedom. Freedom from fear, freedom from comparison, freedom from the invisible chains that have been guiding your choices for years. The freedom to speak when it matters, to act with purpose, and to invest in what actually moves your life forward. This is not arrogance, it is mastery over self. Every time you resist the pull of others' expectations, every time you choose your own standards over someone else's, you build a reservoir of power within yourself. That reservoir grows with every deliberate choice, every silent pause, every moment of self-respect. Life responds to this energy in ways that words cannot predict. Doors open, not because you begged or explained, but because your presence, your calm authority, and your unwavering focus are magnetic. People will notice your results, your discipline, your clarity, and they will respect it, not because you demanded it, but because it cannot be ignored. You stop living in reaction, you begin living in creation. And this creation, this deliberate shaping of your own reality, begins with one simple decision: to stop giving your power away, to stop seeking validation, and to focus entirely on the person you are becoming. The silence you maintain is not emptiness, it is preparation. Every quiet moment, every unreacted thought, every refusal to be swayed by outside voices strengthens you in ways that will ripple through every area of your life. You are no longer dependent on anyone else to approve your journey. You are finally free to walk it with power, clarity, and unstoppable purpose. Have you ever noticed how quickly emotions can hijack your mind? How anger, frustration, or fear can push you into reaction before you even realize it? Most of the chaos in life comes not from the events themselves, but from the way we respond to them, reacting immediately, speaking before thinking, letting every trigger pull you off course. It's exhausting, it's draining, and it steals your power. But when you learn to pause, when you learn to observe without reacting, you step into a space of control that very few people ever experience. There is a hidden strength in stillness, a quiet authority that grows every time you choose to watch before you act. Observation is not passive, it is deliberate. It is the practice of taking in information, analyzing it, and responding from a place of clarity rather than emotion. When you train your mind to do this, the world begins to shift around you. Conflicts that once drained you now pass without disturbance. Criticism no longer cuts because you see it clearly without internalizing it. Opportunities that once went unnoticed now appear because your focus is undistracted, your attention fully present. Emotional intelligence, the ability to manage your own reactions and understand the dynamics around you, is a skill that separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. It allows you to navigate life with a calm power that commands respect without effort. Every time you pause before reacting, you are not surrendering, you are gaining. You are building resilience, patience, and insight. You are creating a mental space where decisions are made intentionally and actions are aligned with your highest priorities. The world still moves, the noise still comes, but you no longer move to it. You stand firm, silent yet unshakable, aware of every nuance, every undercurrent, every opportunity hidden within the chaos. This discipline is transformative because it rewires the brain. Each conscious pause strengthens the neural pathways that support thoughtful, strategic action and weakens those that perpetuate impulsive reaction. Over time, your mind becomes a sanctuary of clarity, and your life becomes a reflection of deliberate choices rather than random responses. The reward is immediate yet profound. You feel the power of control in your body, in your confidence, in the way others respond to your presence. You stop being pulled by the opinions, expectations, and provocations of others. You start moving with precision, purpose, and unstoppable momentum. Life, once chaotic and unpredictable, begins to feel navigable because you are no longer lost in reaction. Every moment of observation is a moment of strength gained. Every silence held in the face of provocation is a step toward mastery. Every deliberate choice reinforces the inner authority that cannot be shaken. And as you cultivate this skill, you realize something remarkable. The less you react, the more life aligns with your intentions. Opportunities flow, respect deepens, clarity sharpens, and the results you have been chasing quietly arrive. You begin to see that the power you were searching for outside of yourself has always been inside, waiting for you to notice it. The moment you choose to observe rather than react, you step into that power, and nothing in the world can move you off course. Have you ever realized that where your attention goes, your energy follows? Every thought you dwell on, every distraction you chase, every fleeting worry you entertain steals your energy and scatters your power. The moment you allow your focus to drift, life drifts with it. Attention is a currency more valuable than money, more potent than influence, more capable of creating the life you desire than any external circumstance. Yet most people spend it carelessly, invested in noise, in drama, in things that will never serve their growth. The truth is simple. If you want your life to change, you must control your attention. You must direct it deliberately, purposefully, and without compromise. When you focus your energy inward, when you concentrate fully on what matters to you, the results are undeniable. Your actions become sharper, more effective, more aligned with your goals. Your decisions become clearer, and the path to what you want becomes visible. This is not magic. It is the natural consequence of consistent, deliberate focus. The brain is wired to amplify what it pays attention to. Focus on the wrong things and they grow. Focus on the right things and they multiply. Energy invested in distraction, gossip, or other people's opinions yields nothing but exhaustion. Energy invested in yourself, in your growth, in your purpose, compounds exponentially. Every day you spend scattered is a day of lost potential. Every day you reclaim your focus is a day of transformation. The most successful, most fulfilled people understand this principle instinctively. They guard their attention as fiercely as they guard their health, their time, their relationships. They know that life responds to where their focus lies, and they refuse to give their energy away to what does not serve them. You have the same ability. You have the power to decide where your attention goes, which thoughts you feed, which actions you take. And the emotional reward is profound. Focus creates freedom. Freedom from chaos, freedom from overwhelm, freedom from the invisible chains of distraction that hold most people back. When your energy is concentrated, your mind becomes sharper, your emotions steadier, and your results unstoppable. Life begins to flow around you rather than pulling you in every direction. The opportunities you have been searching for, the clarity you have been craving, the confidence you have been longing for, it all becomes accessible because your focus is no longer divided. Your power, once diluted, is now directed with precision. Every choice to resist distraction, every moment you reclaim your attention, every refusal to invest energy where it is not deserved, strengthens the foundation of your life. You are no longer drifting. You are no longer reacting. You are building momentum with every conscious decision. And the world begins to notice, not because you shouted or demanded recognition, but because your energy, your presence, your focus are impossible to ignore. The more you protect your attention, the more life unfolds in your favor. The more you concentrate on yourself, the more unstoppable you become. This is the secret that changes ordinary existence into extraordinary living. Energy follows attention, and where your focus goes, your life will follow. The question is, will you allow it to scatter, or will you claim it, protect it, and use it to create the life you deserve? Have you ever noticed how the simplest act of being present can transform everything around you? To be truly mindful is not to drift through life on autopilot, reacting to every impulse and distraction. It is to inhabit each moment fully, to see clearly, to think deliberately, and to act intentionally. Mindfulness is the bridge between thought and action, between chaos and clarity, between scattered energy and unstoppable momentum. When you practice it, you begin to notice patterns that were invisible before. You notice opportunities that others overlook. You notice the subtle signals in people and situations in yourself that guide you toward better decisions. The power of mindfulness is that it allows you to reclaim control over your mind. Your thoughts no longer run you, you run them. You are no longer a passenger in your own life, swept along by circumstance, opinion, and distraction. You become the pilot, and the reward is profound. A mindful mind is a powerful mind, capable of focus that cuts through noise, capable of decisions that align with your deepest purpose, capable of actions that create real results. The practice is deceptively simple but profoundly challenging. It requires stillness, self-awareness, and a willingness to confront the thoughts and emotions that you usually avoid. Yet every time you pause, observe, and return to the present, you strengthen your ability to control your attention and direct your energy. Science shows that mindfulness reduces stress, increases emotional intelligence, and enhances cognitive performance. Every second you spend present, every moment you refuse to be pulled into distraction, rewires your brain for clarity, focus, and deliberate action. And as your mind becomes stronger, your life responds. The distractions that once seemed urgent fade into irrelevance. The chaos that once seemed overwhelming loses its grip. Decisions that once paralyzed you now feel natural, confident, and precise. You begin to move through the world with quiet power, a calm authority that draws opportunity, respect, and alignment without effort. This is why mindfulness is not passive. It is an active, daily commitment to observe, to reflect, to choose intentionally. It is the engine that fuels focus, the foundation that supports restraint, and the lens that clarifies your priorities. Every action you take when you are mindful is more impactful, more aligned, more powerful than actions taken in distraction or reaction. You start to realize that the life you have been chasing is not built in noise, chaos, or endless activity. It is built in presence, awareness, and deliberate focus. And as you cultivate mindfulness, you discover something remarkable. The world cannot rush you, the noise cannot distract you, and the chaos cannot control you. You become unshakable because your power comes from within, from the conscious attention you bring to every thought, every choice, every moment. The path forward becomes clear, your energy becomes unstoppable, and the life you desire, focused, intentional, abundant, and free, becomes inevitable. Mindfulness is not a habit. It is the foundation of transformation. And the more you embrace it, the stronger, wiser, and more unstoppable you become. Have you ever felt the surge of power that comes from holding back, from resisting the urge to speak or react before thinking? There is a hidden strength in restraint, a force that grows every time you choose silence over impulse, thought over reaction, patience over haste. Most people underestimate it because it is invisible at first. The world rewards loudness, immediacy, and drama, making you believe that power comes from volume and speed. But real strength is quiet. Real authority is deliberate. Every time you resist reacting, every time you pause to observe, every time you stay silent when provoked, you are building a foundation of self-mastery that cannot be shaken. Restraint rewires your mind, strengthens your discipline, and cultivates patience, the very patience that allows you to act strategically while others are trapped in chaos. It teaches your brain to delay gratification, to weigh decisions, and to move with precision instead of being pulled by impulses. And the impact is immediate, even if subtle at first. Your presence becomes more commanding because people notice energy they cannot disturb. Your clarity improves because you are no longer clouded by unnecessary reactions. Your confidence grows because you prove to yourself again and again that you are in control, that you can choose, that you are not at the mercy of emotion or circumstance. The paradox is simple. The less you react, the more power you hold. The more you pause, the more influence you command, the more silent strength you cultivate, the more unstoppable you become. Life begins to align with your intent, not with the chaos of others' drama. Your decisions carry weight because they come from clarity, not noise. Your actions carry impact because they are deliberate, not reactive. Restraint is not limitation, it is liberation. It frees you from the exhausting cycle of responding to every provocation, from the drain of chasing approval, from the chaos of constant noise. It allows you to focus entirely on what matters, to channel your energy into growth, to build momentum that cannot be interrupted. And the emotional reward is profound. Every time you resist an unnecessary reaction, every time you choose patience over impulse, every time you embrace silence over noise, you feel the subtle, quiet power of self-mastery. It builds confidence without arrogance, authority without aggression, and results without effort. You begin to see that life responds differently to you when you operate from this place. Opportunities that were invisible before become apparent. People treat you with respect, not because you demanded it, but because the strength you radiate cannot be ignored. Your results speak louder than words ever could. The world may still be loud, chaotic, and impatient, but you are no longer ruled by it. You are deliberate. You are strong. You are in control. And the more you practice restraint, the more your presence becomes a force that shapes life itself. Every silent pause, every deliberate choice, every refusal to react unnecessarily is a step toward the person you are meant to be. Powerful, focused, unstoppable. Have you ever noticed how life seems to reward those who move with quiet, unwavering focus? People who act with intention, who concentrate their energy on what matters most, seem to glide past obstacles that overwhelm others. This is no accident. Life responds to energy, to clarity, to consistent, deliberate action. The person who focuses is the person who builds momentum, who accumulates invisible advantages, who becomes unstoppable without needing to shout for attention. Every small choice to direct your energy inward, every refusal to be distracted by noise, every commitment to deliberate action compounds over time. It is in these choices that results are born, quietly, powerfully, inevitably. The world may reward immediacy, loudness, and constant motion, but those things are illusions of progress. Real progress, lasting transformation, comes from persistence, concentration, and the ability to act when it truly counts. Every step you take with focus matters more than 100 reactive movements made in haste. Your mind, trained to concentrate, begins to notice opportunities that others overlook. Your actions, purposeful and deliberate, carry more weight. Your influence, subtle yet undeniable, grows because people respond to presence, to competence, and to results more than to noise. Focus is the invisible engine behind achievement. It channels your energy, sharpens your decisions, and amplifies your results. Without it, effort becomes wasted motion, and potential dissipates into distraction. But with it, the impossible begins to feel natural. Obstacles are no longer intimidating because your mind has learned to see patterns, to anticipate challenges, and to act strategically. And the emotional reward is undeniable. Focus creates confidence because every successful decision reinforces the truth that you are capable. Focus creates freedom because you are no longer tossed about by every interruption, every opinion, every expectation. Focus creates power because the energy you guard and direct is unstoppable. The more you commit to focusing on what matters, the more life begins to align with your intent. Opportunities appear not by chance, but because your energy, your clarity, and your deliberate actions draw them in. People notice not because you demand it, but because excellence and commitment are magnetic. Focus transforms ordinary effort into extraordinary results. It turns small, consistent actions into monumental change. It turns the person who feels scattered, overwhelmed, or powerless into someone capable of achieving extraordinary goals. The life you have been chasing, the confidence, clarity, respect, and opportunity you have longed for begins to materialize when you claim your focus. Every second spent scattered is a second wasted, but every second spent deliberate is a step toward mastery, freedom, and unstoppable momentum. When you combine focus with silence, with restraint, with deliberate action, you step into a force that cannot be interrupted, diverted, or ignored. The life you want is waiting, but it only responds to those who move with intention, those who protect their energy, those who act with unwavering focus. You are capable of becoming that person. The question is, will you choose focus today, and in doing so, unlock a power that changes everything? Have you ever realized how comparison quietly robs you of your power? How measuring yourself against others drains your energy and clouds your clarity? It is subtle, almost invisible, but it steals more potential than any external obstacle ever could. Every time you look at someone else's life, their success, their recognition, and let it dictate your self-worth. You are giving your power away. You are allowing external measures to define your value instead of standing firmly in your own. The moment you stop comparing, the moment you refuse to let others' paths dictate your pace, your focus sharpens, your confidence grows, and your energy returns to you. Comparison creates distraction, jealousy, and doubt. It convinces you that you are behind, that you are insufficient, that you must chase someone else's definition of success. But the truth is, your journey is yours alone. The only life you can control, the only results you can guarantee come from the choices you make, the focus you maintain, and the actions you take for yourself. When you embrace this, when you stop measuring your progress against the achievements of others, something extraordinary happens. Freedom. Freedom from insecurity, freedom from distraction, freedom from the invisible chains of social expectation. Your energy, once scattered in futile comparison, now flows entirely into your growth. Your mind, once cluttered with doubts, now becomes a tool of clarity and precision. You begin to see your own potential clearly, unfiltered by the success or failure of anyone else. And with that clarity comes power. You act decisively, without hesitation, without the second guessing that comparison breeds. You focus entirely on what matters to you, on the steps that move you forward, on the results that define your own progress. This shift is not superficial, it is transformational. Every day you stop comparing, every time you resist the urge to measure yourself against someone else, you reinforce the truth that your life is yours to build, your growth is yours to cultivate, your results are yours to claim, and the emotional reward is profound. Confidence begins to rise because it is no longer borrowed or conditional, it is inherent. Motivation becomes unstoppable because it is fueled by purpose, not envy. Peace settles within because you are no longer chasing someone else's life. You begin to experience the quiet satisfaction of progress measured on your own terms, of victories defined by your effort, of results built on your energy and your choices. The world may still broadcast the successes of others, but you are no longer distracted. Your path is clear, your momentum is steady, and your power is undeniable. Every step you take, every hour you dedicate to your growth, every refusal to compare yourself to others compounds into momentum that cannot be broken. Life begins to respond to the energy you are finally investing where it matters most, into yourself. You begin to realize that comparison never leads to fulfillment. It only leads to distraction, doubt, and wasted energy. Freedom, clarity, power, and unstoppable momentum are born when you focus entirely on your path, your progress, and your potential. You are capable of achieving extraordinary results, but only when you stop looking sideways and start moving forward with unwavering focus on your own life. Have you ever felt what it means to be truly unshakable, to build a mental and emotional fortress that no outside force can penetrate? Strength of character is not born from comfort or ease. It is forged in the deliberate choices to protect your energy, guard your focus, and honor your own growth. Every day you choose silence over noise, restraint over impulsivity, focus over distraction, and self-investment over seeking approval. You are constructing this inner fortress. It is not visible to the world, but its impact is undeniable. The people around you begin to sense it, even if they cannot define it. The challenges that once overwhelmed you now pass through without breaking your resolve. Your mind, disciplined and clear, becomes a tool for creation rather than reaction. Building this inner fortress requires commitment. It requires saying no to the trivial, refusing to chase validation, and rejecting the distractions that fragment your attention. It demands that you place yourself first, not out of selfishness, but out of necessity. The stronger your foundation, the less the noise of the world can sway you. Strength is amplified by consistency. Every silent pause, every deliberate choice, every moment you resist reaction builds neural pathways that reinforce discipline, focus, and resilience. The life you want, the clarity, freedom, and confidence you crave begins to manifest because your energy is no longer scattered. You become deliberate in your thoughts, intentional in your actions, and unstoppable in your results. The emotional reward is profound. Security arises not from the approval of others, not from external success, but from knowing that you are in control, that you are building your life intentionally, and that nothing outside can dismantle the foundation you are creating. Obstacles that once seemed impossible become challenges you meet with calm determination. Setbacks no longer shake you because your strength comes from within, not from circumstance. Every time you choose yourself over distraction, every time you act from clarity rather than reaction, every time you protect your mental and emotional space, you reinforce the power that makes you unshakable. Life begins to bend in response to the energy of someone who is internally fortified. Opportunities that once seemed elusive now flow toward you naturally because your presence is magnetic, grounded in focus and radiating quiet confidence. You do not need to chase, convince, or prove. Your results speak louder than words ever could. The world may still rush and clamor around you, but inside you operate from a place of peace, precision, and unstoppable power. Every day, every decision, every disciplined action adds another stone to your fortress, and with it, your ability to navigate life's complexities with calm authority grows. You begin to see that the foundation of an extraordinary life is not in noise, chaos, or endless activity. It is in the silent, deliberate, and unwavering construction of your inner strength. The moment you commit to this, the moment you prioritize yourself, protect your focus, and act with intention, you step into a force that cannot be disturbed, a presence that cannot be ignored, and a life that is unshakably yours. Have you ever sensed the quiet power of acting without announcing it? Of letting your results speak for themselves while the world continues to talk? Most people believe influence comes from noise, from explanation, from convincing others of your value. They chase attention, seeking recognition before the work is done, assuming that volume equals impact. But the truth is the opposite. Results carry far more weight than words ever will. When you focus on your actions rather than your announcements, when you pour your energy into deliberate effort instead of seeking approval, the world begins to respond naturally. Every achievement, every success, every goal realized becomes a signal far louder than any argument, any explanation, any claim you could make. Quiet action requires patience, self-discipline, and trust in your own process. It requires the understanding that your energy is too valuable to waste on proving your worth or defending your decisions to others. The moment you embrace this principle, a shift occurs. You stop reacting to noise. You stop measuring progress by someone else's standards. You stop chasing applause that will never satisfy you. Instead, you focus solely on your work, your growth, and your path. The psychological impact of this is profound. The brain responds to consistent, deliberate action with confidence, clarity, and increased capability. Every task completed, every step taken with intention, strengthens your neural pathways for focus, persistence, and achievement. The emotional reward is undeniable. You begin to feel a sense of control, a certainty that your energy is being invested wisely. You experience the deep satisfaction of progress measured in action, not in recognition. You develop an inner authority that commands respect without the need for validation, and the results compound. What once seemed impossible becomes attainable. Challenges that would have triggered panic or reaction now pass with clarity and calculated response. Opportunities align with your efforts because energy and focus are magnetic forces, drawing into your life what resonates with your intent. The more you act silently, deliberately, and consistently, the more your influence grows naturally. You do not need to convince anyone of your value. It is evident in your results, in the calm power of your presence, in the momentum you have built through focus and discipline. Life begins to respond differently to someone who embodies this principle. Doors open quietly. People notice without you having to call attention to yourself. Respect, opportunity, and trust arrive not through explanation, but through the undeniable force of your disciplined actions. And as this pattern continues, you realize that speaking less, doing more, and letting your work stand as proof is one of the most potent forms of influence available. It is the ultimate expression of focus, restraint, and self-investment. Every silent, deliberate choice compounds into unstoppable momentum. Every quiet action builds your presence, and every disciplined effort reshapes your life. This is how extraordinary people achieve results that others only dream of. Through quiet, intentional action that speaks louder than words, through discipline that amplifies every ounce of energy, and through focus that transforms ordinary effort into extraordinary outcomes. Have you ever noticed how most people are constantly seeking shortcuts, looking for instant validation, or craving recognition for every small step they take? The world celebrates noise, speed, and visibility, making you believe that success must be broadcasted to exist. But true transformation, True power and real achievement are built quietly, invisibly, within the discipline of consistent effort and intentional focus. When you prioritize results over recognition, action over announcement, and growth over approval, you enter a space of extraordinary potential. Every deliberate choice you make compounds, every moment of self-control strengthens your internal authority, and every silent act of focus increases your momentum in ways that are invisible to the casual observer, but undeniable to the results themselves. This is the paradox of quiet power. The less you seek attention, the more influence you cultivate. The less you react to noise, the stronger your presence becomes. The less you rely on approval, the more unshakable your confidence grows. Psychology shows that internal validation is far more sustaining than external praise. When your sense of worth is anchored within, you are resilient to criticism, immune to comparison, and unstoppable in the pursuit of your goals. Every time you act without the need for recognition, you build neural pathways that reinforce self-reliance, strategic thinking, and disciplined focus. The energy once wasted on defending, explaining, or proving yourself is now fully available to propel you forward. Your mind sharpens, your decisions gain clarity, and your actions carry more weight. Opportunities begin to align with your efforts, not because you demanded them, but because your consistent focus and deliberate action naturally attract them. The world cannot ignore results, even when they arrive silently. And the emotional reward is profound. Peace, confidence, and clarity replace doubt, fear, and distraction. You feel the quiet satisfaction of building a life that is aligned with your values and your purpose. Every step taken in silence, every moment spent resisting the urge to react, and every choice to focus on your growth strengthens the invisible foundation that supports your extraordinary potential. You begin to notice the magnetic effect of discipline and intention. People respect presence more than volume, actions more than words, and consistency more than promises. Your life becomes a reflection of deliberate energy, uncompromised focus, and unstoppable momentum. The more you invest in yourself silently and deliberately, the more life responds with alignment, clarity, and opportunity. This is how extraordinary transformation occurs. Not in announcements, not in noise, but in the quiet, unwavering, disciplined commitment to yourself. Each silent, focused action compounds into results that speak louder than any explanation ever could. Each deliberate choice fortifies your internal authority. Each moment of self-investment accelerates your path toward the life you have been envisioning. You begin to understand that the power to change everything has always been within your control, waiting for you to claim it through silence, focus, and unwavering discipline. Have you ever realized how much energy you give to the wrong things? How much of your life is spent reacting to noise instead of creating your own path? Most people operate as if life is happening to them, swept along by expectation, distraction, and the urgent demands of others. They chase validation, respond impulsively, and surrender their focus to the chaos around them. But the truth is simple. Your power is not in reaction. It is in deliberate choice. The moment you reclaim your energy, the moment you decide that your attention, your focus, and your time are yours to control, everything changes. Discipline over attention is the single most transformative force you can cultivate. Every thought you control, every reaction you pause, every choice to invest energy where it matters strengthens your capacity for achievement and fulfillment. The brain is a tool, and like any tool, it functions best when guided with precision. Every time you allow distraction, comparison, or unnecessary drama to dominate your attention, you weaken your ability to act intentionally. But every time you focus on what matters, every time you redirect energy toward growth, you strengthen the pathways of clarity, decision-making, and unstoppable momentum. The emotional impact of this practice is profound. You feel lighter because the burden of others' expectations no longer weighs you down. You feel stronger because every choice reinforces your internal authority. You feel unstoppable because you know that your results are born from your focus, discipline, and deliberate action, not from luck, noise, or external validation. The world will still demand your reaction, still try to pull you into distraction, still tempt you with the urgency of trivial matters. But when you operate from control rather than chaos, from intention rather than reaction, you create a life that cannot be derailed. Opportunities align, relationships strengthen, and your influence grows, not through argument or persuasion, but through the undeniable force of focused action. Every silent, deliberate choice compounds into a momentum that cannot be stopped. Every pause before reaction builds resilience that becomes unshakable over time. Every decision to protect your focus reinforces the truth that your life is yours to shape. And the reward is freedom. Freedom from the anxiety of comparison. Freedom from the drain of others' expectations. Freedom from the exhaustion of constant reaction. Focus, discipline, and intentionality are not temporary strategies. They are the foundation of transformation. They turn ordinary effort into extraordinary results, scattered energy into unstoppable momentum, and silent action into undeniable influence. When you begin to protect your attention, prioritize yourself, and move with deliberate focus, life responds. The clarity you gain, the energy you reclaim, the confidence you build, they are all evidence that power is never found in noise or reaction. It is cultivated in silence, sharpened through discipline, and unleashed through unwavering focus. You are capable of creating this life. You are capable of mastering your energy, your mind, and your results. The only choice left is to claim it fully, to protect it fiercely, and to act intentionally every single day.